Sedona's red rocks vanished under swirling snow, the storm howling fierce. Cold bit deep. I stirred coffee grounds, the cabin's stove crackling. Warmth fought back. A knock shattered the silence. 3 heavy thuds, desperate, raw. Fear surged fast. No one ventured this far, not in a blizzard. Doubt coiled tight. I peered through frosted glass, a shadowed figure slumping. Panic flared sharp. Opening the door, he collapsed, ice-crusted, barely breathing. Instinct took over. His face, scarred and bearded, hid secrets. Truth lay buried. Morning would reveal a past I'd fled. Fate knocked loud. Flagstaff's bustle had been my life, steaming espresso, wiping counters. Work anchored steady. At 29 I poured lattes, rebuilt from nothing. Resilience ran deep. My apartment, small but mine, held my first peace. Hope bloomed soft. Then Marion Tate arrived, her smile warm, her story heavy. Her charm was slick. A cafe regular, she spoke of hard times. Her son Caleb, jobless, crashing with cousins. Her plea was soft. I offered my couch, a temporary fix. Kindness felt right. But their stay turned my home into a cage. Freedom slipped fast. Marion moved in, her quilts draping my chairs. Her presence was warm. Caleb followed, his eyes sharp, hands calloused. His silence was stark. At first they seemed grateful. Marion baked, Caleb fixed a lamp. Trust grew thin. Nights shifted, Caleb's footsteps late, reeking of smoke. Unease crept close. His friends arrived, loud, spilling ash on my floors. Chaos took hold. Marion shrugged. He's stressed, dear. Her excuse was weak. My keys vanished, my bank card too. Control faded quick. I locked my door, heart racing. Fear rooted deep. One night Caleb cornered me, breath sour, grip tight. Threat loomed large. You owe us, he hissed, pinning me. Terror surged wild. I broke free, barricading myself, shaking. Desperation burned raw. Marion hummed morning eggs, ignoring it all. Her denial was cold. My apartment, once a haven, reeked of strangers. Loss stung sharp. I confronted her, voice firm. Courage sparked faint. You need to leave, I said. Resolve stood tall. He smiled, chilling. This isn't yours anymore. Her words were ice. I was trapped, a ghost in my own life. Hope dimmed fast. The cafe saved me, its hum grounding. Routine held steady. I lingered after shifts, brewing extra pots. Escape felt near. There I met Evelyn Hart, a botanist with silver hair, sharp eyes. Her calm was real. Between coffee orders she spoke of plants, survival. Her wisdom was warm. My cabin's empty, she said one day. Needs a soul. Her offer was bold. I hesitated, pride heavy. Doubt lingered soft. Not charity, she insisted. A fresh start. Hope flickered bright. I nodded, heart racing. Freedom beckoned close. Leaving wasn't simple, threads binding me tight. Fear clung hard. I packed in secret. Photos, a journal, a pressed cactus flower. Memory stayed small. Each shift I smuggled pieces, hiding them in a duffel. Stealth was key. Evelyn's son drove me out, his truck rattling through desert snow. Relief grew faint. Flagstaff faded, stars piercing the dark. Solitude felt light. The cabin, cedar-scented, stood sturdy in Sedona's hills. Shelter was mine. Evelyn handed me keys, her smile firm. Trust anchored deep. I learned the cabin's rhythms, creaky stairs, whistling vents. Life took shape. Mornings meant coffee by the window, watching pines sway. Peace settled soft. I baked bread, swept dust, slept without fear. Healing began slow. No shadows stalked my door, no voices broke my calm. Freedom tasted sweet. I wrote one line nightly, anchoring thoughts. Ritual held strong. Then the storm hit, snow-bearing paths, wind-shaking walls. Nature roared fierce. I stalked wood, boiled water, braced alone. Resolve stood firm. The knock came late, jarring raw. Dread surged quick. I opened the door, snow rushing in. Cold bit hard. He fell heavy, frozen, scarred. Instinct drove fast. I dragged him to the fire, peeling soaked layers. Care took over. His hands shook, too weak for coffee. Fragility was stark. I warmed him, blankets piling high. Warmth fought back. His voice, rough, whispered thanks. Gratitude was faint. Then I saw it, a leaf-shaped birthmark twinned to mine. Shock hit deep. My past had found me. Truth loomed large. Sedona's blizzard roared, the cabin creaking under snow's weight. Cold gripped tight. The stranger, James, lay by the fire, his birthmark mirroring mine. Shock lingered raw. His rasped Lila broke the silence, a name from a life I'd buried. Pain surged wild. My hands shook, coffee grounds spilling. Dread coiled deep. I backed away, heart pounding, locking myself in the bathroom. Fear held firm. The storm outside howled, but inside, a deeper tempest churned. Truth loomed large. My father, gone 20 years, had stumbled back. Fate struck hard. Morning light pierced the frosted windows, weak but steady. Hope flickered faint. James stirred, his breathing stronger, eyes clearer. Life crept back. I emerged, cautious, clutching a mug. Resolve stood tall. He sat up, quilt slipping, scars stark in daylight. His past was vivid. I didn't know, he whispered, voice cracked. Regret was raw. I stared at the leaf-shaped mark on his wrist, twin to mine. Connection pulsed soft. Why now? I asked, voice low. Curiosity burned sharp. His story unraveled, heavy, jagged. Truth broke free. He spoke of my mother, her sudden flight. Grief stung deep. She left no note, he said, eyes distant. Loss was stark. He'd searched, knocking on doors, chasing shadows. Desperation ran wild. A fire in Tucson years later claimed a woman and child. Sorrow sank heavy. He'd believed it was us, stopped looking. His heart was torn. I clenched my mug, knuckles white. Anger flared hot. She died in Flagstaff, I said. Cancer, not fire. Clarity cut sharp. His face crumpled, a man broken twice. Pain was real. I told him my story, voice steady but cold. Truth held firm. Foster homes, locked doors, survival. Struggle shaped me. I asked for you, I said, eyes hard. Abandonment bit deep. They said you were gone. Hurt lingered long. He nodded, hands trembling, carving a phantom shape in the air. His guilt was bare. I kept this, he said, pulling a wooden bird from his pocket. Memory sparked vivid. I froze, recalling its twin lost in a foster box. Nostalgia hit hard. You made it for me, I whispered. Connection grew strong. The cabin's silence stretched, fire crackling soft. Tension eased slow. I boiled water, brewed coffee, hands moving on instinct. Ritual anchored me. He sipped, wincing, warmth thawing his bones. Relief crept near. I didn't mean to find you, he said, voice low. Fate was cruel. He'd been running not from me but them. Danger loomed close. My pulse quickened, sensing his fear. Dread returned swift. Who's after you? I asked, voice sharp. Curiosity burned fierce. His eyes darkened, secrets spilling fast. Truth poured out. Weeks ago he'd found a box buried near his cabin. Discovery was stark. Rusted, heavy, stuffed with papers, cash, names. Evidence was raw. Embezzlement, bribes, land grabs, he said, voice tight. Corruption ran deep. Local officials, a judge, a mayor, tangled in greed. Power was rotten. He'd hidden it, but they came, no badges, just threats. Fear drove him. I ran, he said, touching a bruise on his temple. Pain was fresh. 2 days in the snow, then my chimney's smoke. Hope had guided. I sat, coffee cold, mind racing. Shock held tight. My father, a ghost, carried a secret that burned. Danger was real. What's in the box? I asked, voice steady. Resolve grew firm. Enough to ruin them, he said, eyes hard. Justice loomed near. But they'd erase it and him, if they found it. Threat was stark. I stood, pacing, the bird in my hand. Memory anchored deep. We can't stay quiet, I said, voice bold. Courage sparked bright. He nodded, weary but sure. Trust began soft. Maya Ruiz, my neighbor, knocked that afternoon, her scarf dusted with snow. Her arrival was warm. A social media manager, she'd seen my fire from her cabin. Her concern was real. You okay? She asked, eyeing James. Her instinct was sharp. I hesitated, then told her, birthmark, father, danger. Truth spilled fast. Her eyes widened, phone already out. Her energy was fierce. This is huge, she said, typing. Her spark was vivid. Posts hit X. Sedona storm reunion, father found. Views soared high. YouTube's gonna flip. Spam those likes. she urged. Her push was bold. The post exploded, comments flooding. Lila's story is unreal. Support surged wild. Maya showed me grinning. Her excitement was bright. YouTube's buzzing. Drop those hearts, she said, scrolling. Connection pulsed strong. Strangers shared tales. Lost families found truths. Solidarity was fierce. My coffee shop's owner called, offering shifts if I returned. Opportunity knocked loud. I clutched the wooden bird, heart racing. Hope burned vivid. James watched, silent, his fear unshaken. Danger lingered close. The world knew our story, but they were still out there. Threat loomed. We moved carefully, locking doors, stacking wood. Vigilance held firm. James sketched maps, marking where he'd hidden the box. His memory was sharp. Under a juniper 2 miles west, he said, voice low. Precision was key. I brewed more coffee, hand steady. Ritual grounded me. I know someone, I said, thinking of Henry Cole. Hope flared soft. A retired detective he'd tipped me at the cafe left his card. Trust was tentative. He'll know what to do, I said, voice firm. Resolve stood tall. I called Henry from a prepaid phone, snow crunching underfoot. Courage drove me. I have evidence, I said, voice low. Truth was bold. A witness, too. Danger was real. He listened, calm, asking for coordinates. His voice was steady. Stay put, he said, hanging up. Relief crept near. James watched, eyes wary but hopeful. His trust was faint. You're risking a lot, he said, voice soft. His gratitude was warm. I nodded, gripping the bird. Strength anchored deep. Not just for you, I said. Purpose burned bright. Days passed, the storm unrelenting. Cold pressed hard. We shared silence, mending old wounds. Healing crept slow. I baked cornbread, he carved a new bird. Ritual bonded us. Maya visited, her posts now millions strong. Impact roared wide. You're viral, she said, showing comments. Lila's a hero. Pride swelled high. The cabin felt smaller, walls closing in. Tension grew tight. James's eyes darted to windows, fear lingering. Danger stayed near. I poured coffee, hand steady. Resolve held firm. Henry was coming, but time was slipping. Fate pressed close. Sedona's storm eased, snow settling soft. Calm crept near. James's secret hung heavy, the box's truth a ticking bomb. Danger lingered close. Maya's posts lit up, millions watching. Impact roared wide. YouTube's wild. Spam those stars, she texted, voice bright. Her spark was fierce. I clutched the wooden bird, its edges worn. Memory anchored deep. Henry Cole's SUV crunched into the clearing, his eyes sharp. Hope surged strong. The cabin glowed, fire steady, but fear still whispered. Tension held firm. Our fight for justice was just beginning. Truth stood tall. Henry stepped inside, his parka dusted white. His presence was solid. A retired detective, he carried years of grit. Experience ran deep. James slid the rusted box across the table, hands trembling. Fear was raw. Henry opened it, papers spilling, ledgers, photos, names. Evidence burned bright. His brow furrowed, then smoothed, a grim smile forming. Satisfaction was stark. This'll shake Flagstaff, he said, voice low. Justice loomed large. He glanced at me, eyes steady. Trust grew firm. You're in deep, he warned. Danger was real. We sat, planning under firelight. Resolve pulsed strong. Henry mapped steps. Federal contacts, safe channels. Strategy was sharp. Stay hidden, he said, packing the box. Caution was key. James nodded, his scars catching light. His courage was vivid. I brewed coffee, hands steady, grounding myself. Ritual held tight. Maya burst in, phone buzzing. Her energy was bold. YouTube's losing it. Drop those hearts, she said, showing comments. Lila's a legend. Support soared high. The world cheered, but shadows hunted. Threat pressed close. Days blurred, the cabin our fortress. Safety felt thin. James fixed a creaky hinge, his hands steady. Purpose anchored him. I baked bread, it scent warm. Comfort crept soft. We spoke of lost years, his carvings, my mother's laugh. Connection bloomed deep. I thought you were gone, he said, voice low. Grief was bare. I nodded, tracing the bird's wings. Forgiveness stirred faint. Maya's posts hit 20 million. Sedona reunion shakes the internet. Pride swelled wild. Strangers shared stories. Lost parents found truths. Solidarity was fierce. Henry called, voice clipped. News broke fast. Feds have the box, he said. Relief surged quick. 2 officials resigned, 1 arrested, another vanished. Justice took hold. You're clear, he added, but warned, stay low. Vigilance was stark. I exhaled, heart lighter. Freedom tasted sweet. James smiled, faint but real. Hope shone bright. Maya grinned, scrolling X. Her spark was vivid. YouTube's obsessed. Share your stories, she urged, eyes gleaming. Connection ran strong. The cabin felt safer, but scars lingered. Healing was slow. I thought of Marion and Caleb, their grip on my old life. Betrayal stung sharp. Henry dug deeper, unearthing their trail. Truth unfolded fast. Caleb faced charges, fraud, assault, old warrants. Karma landed hard. Marion's restaurant closed, her charm faded. Her fall was stark. I didn't gloat, didn't chase revenge. Peace was enough. My Flagstaff apartment, once a cage, was reclaimed by the landlord. Loss felt distant. I baked cornbread, James carving nearby. Ritual bonded us. The past was loosening, threads snapping free. Freedom grew firm. Maya visited, her posts now global. Impact roared loud. Comments flooded. Lila and James are family goals. Support pulsed high. YouTube's in love. Keep those likes coming, she said, laughing. Her push was bold. A local cafe offered me a job, citing my story. Opportunity knocked wide. I accepted, brewing espresso in Sedona's glow. Purpose burned bright. James sold carvings at a market, his bears a hit. His craft was warm. Customers whispered, that's the storm guy. Legacy began small. Our story reshaped us, scars and all. Healing took root. One evening we sat by the fire, coffee steaming. Comfort was real. James spoke of my mother, her love for desert blooms. Memory was soft. She'd be proud, he said, eyes wet. Love shone vivid. I nodded, the bird in my hand. Connection anchored deep. I hated you once, I admitted, voice low. Honesty was raw. He nodded, no defense offered. His regret was clear. I'll earn it back, he promised, carving a new owl. Effort was steady. Forgiveness wasn't instant, but it grew. Redemption crept near. Spring arrived, Sedona's hills blooming red. Life felt vibrant. I worked shifts, pouring lattes, smiling at locals. Routine was warm. James built a workbench, teaching kids to carve. His patience was fierce. A gallery wanted my pressed flower art, inspired by Evelyn. Creativity soared high. Maya's final post read, Sedona family rebuilds. Views hit 30 million. Comments cheered, Lila's unstoppable. Pride burned strong. YouTube's buzzing, tell us your reunion tales, she texted. Her call was vivid. I framed the wooden bird, a symbol of return. Legacy stood tall. The cafe hummed, customers sharing stories. Connection grew deep. A single mom thanked me, eyes wet. Her gratitude was real. Your story gave me strength, she said, ordering coffee. Impact was fierce. I smiled, steaming milk, heart full. Purpose anchored me. James joined me one day, his bear carving sold out. His pride was warm. We're okay, he said, voice soft. Love was eternal. I nodded, tracing my birthmark. Family was whole. The storm had brought us back, scars and all. Healing was complete. Marion called once, voice small. Her shame was stark. I'm sorry, she said, no charm left. Her apology was frail. I listened, then hung up. Closure felt light. Caleb was gone, his threats silenced. Justice was served. I didn't need their regret, only my peace. Freedom held firm. James and I repainted the cabin sage green. Renewal was bright. We laughed, swapping stories, building new rituals. Connection ran strong. The bird hung framed, a reminder of truth. Legacy was ours. If this story moved you, share it. Your voice matters. Have you faced a past that came knocking? Connection keeps us grounded. Drop your thoughts below, let us know. Truth builds bridges. Every storm passes, leaving something stronger in its wake. Family endures always. Love doesn't forget. It waits, ready to rebuild from ashes, snow and time. Triumph was ours.